I reached a point where I said, you know what, Fatima, why you keep crying about this? You cried about this already, remember? It took some years, but I said that to me. I cried about it already. My friend said, you cried about this already? And she loves me. That girl loves me. She loves all of us. Assalamu alaikum, peace. It's Fatima, Coach Fatima, 1/3 of Outstanding Personal Relationships and co-author of Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored. Now, for those of you that are new, I am the initial wife of Coach Nazir, and I just want to give that for clarity because I know that oftentimes Coach Nyla and I, shout out to my amazing co-wife, very kind, very generous soul, we get mixed up. People mix us up. We ourselves don't mix each other up, of course. But here on social media, it's very easy to do. I don't think we're done getting mixed up by others, and that's okay. If they're going to mix me up with anybody, I would like it to be her. Because she really, really does care a lot for people, and that's something that you can't fake. I'm a really, really great spotter of BS and ill intention. I don't know everything. I don't claim to, but I just go a lot off of people's energy. And upon getting to know her over the past 11 years, that's something that you can't fake. I was raised by very proud Southern Black grandparents. My grandpa has since passed away almost 26 years ago. Well, exactly 26 years ago, and my grandmother now has dementia, so she doesn't remember any of my poly journey, and they raised me as best as they could. So that means they help me spot when people are not sincere, and when they will come to you with a smile, and it'll be another motive, and when they come to you with a smile, and you mean the world to them. So they taught me how to kind of spot both things. Now, with that being said, this topic is about polygyny and dealing with grief. Now, whether you're grieving the truth, whether you're grieving your marriage, whether you're grieving your husband being with you all the time or most of the time, or you're grieving loyalty, you're grieving acknowledgement, love, you're grieving maybe the physical aspect of the marriage. You know, sometimes when we're hurting, that gets in the way of our sex lives. Sometimes when we're hurting, we say things that are very vicious and cruel, and that can derail physical contact. Maybe you're grieving what polygyny or those who practice polygyny has done to your children. Maybe you're looking at their hurt and having a hard time processing what just happened to you, what just happened to them, what just happened in the life of your husband. There's so many things that can be part of grief or the beginning of grief. For me, I was grieving, not feeling. I wasn't feeling included in my husband's life. So part of it was that, and I had to go. He grown. And my grandma told me he came here by himself, and so did you. You likely to leave by yourself, and so will he. Neither one of you gonna be with him. I mean, she just was really direct. But I celebrate those gems she dropped, and I celebrate that truth she told me because she raised me. She knew I needed to hear it. And it couldn't be clouded. It couldn't be disguised. I couldn't make it better than what it was. I couldn't make that better than what it was at the time because I couldn't unring the bell. I couldn't reverse engineer not knowing that he was married. And we've talked about this many times at OPR. I'm good with it. You know, I don't complain about it. I don't fuss about it. I'm over it because I did my work, because I matter to me. It's not just, oh, he matters to me so much. No, I matter to me. I like Fatima. I love her, you know, and I had to really discover a deeper love for myself through polygyny. I did, because that was one of the biggest tests I ever endured and survived, and now am thriving in. So I celebrate it. I don't go, oh, you know, if he had it, did. No. Because what he didn't do gave me strength. Okay. And what he did gave me strength. He meaning Coach Nazir. For those of you like, who's she talking about? Her grandpa or daddy? Who? Him. Talking about Coach Nyla. And I laugh now because, you know, I reached a point where I said, you know what, Fatima, why you keep crying about this? You cried about this already, remember? It took some years, but I said that to me. I cried about it already. My friend said, you cried about this already? And she loves me. That girl loves me. She loves all of us. She's like, remember? I was like, dang, that's deep. Because I did. Okay. And what catapulted me into identifying grief, because I was reading up on the 7 stages of grief, and I experienced all of them. Now they go from either 5 things to 7. And just Google the 7 stages of grief, guys, if you really want to go into detail. And you might not be experiencing grief, but for those of you that are, and you don't know what quite to do, identify it as such, get educated on it, allow it, accept it, move on from it, find your healing. It doesn't happen that quickly. It doesn't have to happen in a slow way. Everybody's different, see? And everybody's married to different men. Some of us are married to the same man, and that's all right, you know. But my marriage is not the same as Coach Nazir and Coach Nyla's. My marriage, the participants in my marriage are Coach Fatima, Coach Nazir. Different. We mind our marriage, right? Which means we mind our own business. We tend to the business of the marriage that we're in. So I celebrate my marriage every day, but I also celebrate theirs. You know, and everybody not there yet, I know that wasn't there yet. I wasn't there. It took me a long time to celebrate their marriage. And that's what it was. And now I'm able to embrace it because I did my healing work. And my healing work was so much about me and no one else. Everybody kept trying to make his stuff mine. He got married again. There was something wrong with me. He had kids with somebody else. I couldn't have any. She's younger. I'm too old. I mean, it just, you know, she's tall. I'm short. I mean, people were pulling at straws. And I said, well, when y'all get done pulling at straws about my life, I'll be too busy being happy and living it. You do that, pull them straws. You know, take up your time because I'm booked and busy. Working on me, loving my family, being married to my husband. I don't have time. Enjoying my life. Living. I'm not just breathing, I'm living. I want to live. I don't want to just exist in polygyny and just survive this. I'm not trying to survive polygyny. I'm trying to thrive in it. I say it all the time because I mean that. And part of it is understanding that I had to grieve what used to be. And then I said, you know, my marriage was what it was before polygyny, but that can't mean, and it doesn't mean that it can't be great and continue to do so now. Because see, I won't give up on it because he's trying, I'm trying. And as long as we all are trying, me, him, and our egos, my marriage will be successful, regardless of anyone else. So when I post my marriage this and that, and I'm this and that, and Queen's this and that, that's because I went through the trenches of a lot of my stuff, peeled back those layers, found my trauma, and I discovered my parents. And I said, Both my parents at some points in their lives felt the need or desire or the willingness or the climate or the sorrow, whatever, to say, we can't raise her. And or I can't raise her at all, and the other parent going, I'll raise her, but I'll raise her half-ass. I'll let my parents do it. So then I found abandonment. So when Coach Nazir got married, I felt abandoned, although he didn't go anywhere. My grandma was like, he gonna be back tomorrow night. Damn. And that's exactly what she said. She was like, what? Like, it ain't like that. She didn't like this. My grandmother did not like it to the day but she said, you're either gonna stay or you're gonna go, but you can't do both. You're either gonna be married to him or you're gonna divorce him, but you can't do both. He's still going to be in your life. And you think if you divorce him, he won't be in your life anymore. That's the only reason why. She said, because people going to get married, people going to die, people going to be in the hospital, your kids get... She said they're going to do all that stuff and you all end up in the same spaces. So if you're ready to see him in the same spaces and he's not your husband, by all means. My grandmother was one of the realest people on earth when it came to getting you together, like a lot of grandmothers. But she knew what I needed to hear, not what I wanted to hear. And she said, this ain't high school no more. And it's not. We all grown people. So identifying what was wrong with me became more important than identifying what Nazir could have done better. And a lot of what I felt had much to do with how things were done and much to do with my parents. And overcoming that and saying, okay, that's not my story though. Him getting married to Coach Nyla is not my story. That's a little piece of me. That's not all consuming. Because if it becomes all consuming, and I can't do anything but ruminate over what they do, not do, when, how long, for when it's going to fail, when it's going to succeed. How am I going to learn? If I keep doing that, that's a form of worship. And I'm not in the business of worshiping people. So once I called myself out, for as much as I called everyone else out, I felt so much better. And people will go, oh, she making excuses. I don't need to make excuses for nobody. They're grown. They got married, okay? She's not some side chick he had kids with. We're both married women, period. So I'm not going to diminish their marriage by calling it something that it's never been, which is just some side opportunity for Coach Nazir. That ain't what it is. But what I will call out is what damage I created in my own life. It's like my grandmother said to me, he coming back. Abandonment mean he going, he don't never come back. You better understand that. She didn't like it. She did not like this because my grandma didn't like Islam. And she had to share my grandparents was gorgeous, honey. My grandfather was drop dead gorgeous, and so my grandma was too. Two beautiful people. But they showed each other such ugliness in their marriage. And I know why. Because my grandpa liked other women, and he hid it. And she found it out all the time. My grandma was a G. She was a G. My grandmother used to hide out in vehicles. He'd get in the car. She'd jump out from the back seat. These are the people that raised me. It was almost like a George Jefferson Wheezy kind of thing. And I was like, Grandma, you guys remind me of the Jeffersons. She said, I ain't never been that ugly. To the shade of it all. I mean, she just couldn't say stuff in a normal way. She had to drag everything. But with that, she gave us a lot of love. And a lot of hard love and a lot of honesty. And she said to me, that man sees you every day. And she had a conversation with him. And she said, I don't want you there. And she asked him, what are your intentions on my granddaughter? And he said, I ain't going nowhere. Hello? Shout out to Coach Nazir. Because he doesn't do anything half-assed. He doesn't say, oh, I'm going to be kind of a husband to you today, and then I'm kind of, with splashes of fatherhood. He doesn't do that. He's committed to something. He sees it through, and he knows that about himself. I don't have to tell him. The people that know him know that about him. Because then it turns into, oh, here comes Coach Nyla being all consistent again. Oh, God, here he comes. It's good to be known for that. It's a good problem to have. It's a good problem. He ain't got to figure it out. He's not perfect. He's still a person. I still understand. He's still going through his journey. It's his life. And I got my own. And my co-wife has her own. And we intersect sometimes. We're family. But grief happened in my life. Acceptance happened in my life. Failure happened in my life. Success happened in my life. Sadness happened in my life. Joy happened in my life. Death happened in my life. Life happened in my life. Okay? So, grief is something that doesn't stick around all the time. Grief will leave when you tell it to. You say, I'm okay. You can move on now. Healing happens when you allow it because you're doing your work every day. Joy happens when you let it because you're telling yourself what to focus on. So instead of focusing on Coach Nazir and Coach Nyla, I start focusing on Fatima, and then I became Coach Fatima. But it took years of working on me. I'm still working on me, right? And wanting the success for their marriage just as I wanted success for mine. And I still do. That's my dua. Because I can't see nobody trying to do nothing with my kids but Coach Nyla and their father. If something happens to me, I can die in peace knowing if something happens to me, that they got it. And I said what I said and I meant it. And I'm sending y'all love and light until you feel better. But work on you. I'm going to go and work on me and get my concealer together, child, because my makeup ain't cheap. See y'all in the next one. See, a mess. A pulled up mess. I'll see y'all in the next one. So make a peace.
Here are 3 ways outstanding personal relationships can help you.
Make sure you guys are following us on our social medias at Outstanding Personal Relationships on YouTube and Facebook, and on IG at Outstanding Relationships, and also Clubhouse under our names.
And make sure you go to outstandingpersonalrelationships.com and sign up for our email list. And there you will get updates on our new book, Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored.
Absolutely. And last but not least, when it comes to coaching or counseling, if you want to work with us one-on-one or in group settings, make sure you're on that website and reach out to us because we do have very limited spots and we usually have a wait list. So with that being said, GLC.
Make sure you are growing intentionally,
loving fearlessly,
and connecting on a higher level every single day. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.